the surfaces of the world looked different to me because I was a skateboarder. People see sidewalks and think, we walk here. I think that's a crack, that's a bump. This is smooth, this is rough. It taught me about redefinition. Punk rock was another example of redefinition because clearly you could do anything you damn well pleased. And I immediately set out to form a band. I saw deviance. I saw people who were just insane. It appealed to me because I consider myself a deviant, and my deviance is the fact that I'm completely straight. I didn't drink, I didn't take any drugs, I was sober. You know, my friends were always sort of thought of as like the weirdos because we just didn't get high. It marginalized us and made us feel like we were on the edge.
This is the story of Straight Edge.
This is True Till Death
on Lamacq Live.
BBC Radio 1.
Straight Edge is a story of a million street kids who learned how to be positive.
Drug, alcohol, smoke-free.
An ever-growing lifestyle.
That's called the Straight Edge lifestyle.
This is the alternative here, to use the clarity of mind to become an effective revolutionary. See what the world is like through sober eyes.
An underground community built by hundreds of bands, thousands of fanzines, and millions of people around the world who don't do like the majority, collectively inspired by a single song. For the next half hour, we'll trace the history of the positive punk rock phenomenon of straight edge. It began in 1980 in Washington, D.C., one of America's premier punk rock cities. Alongside friends like Henry Rollins, Ian Mackay, lead singer of East Coast heroes Minor Threat, was becoming increasingly disillusioned with the supposed revolution the punk scene was trying to kick off.
There was like a whole side of punk rock which was like, who cares? Life sucks. For us, it just seemed like pantomime, that kind of stuff. It was a facade. I think a lot of the kids I knew, like in high school, who just started rebelling by getting high. It was almost as if they looked up like a local listings, well, how to rebel. Well, get high. From my point of view, it seemed completely like the normal thing to do. And I was not interested in being normal. So getting involved with punk rock was sort of like, this is where we belong, because we're freaks. They kept saying, well, you couldn't be real punks because you're not self-destructive. So not only are we being ridiculed by mainstream society for being punk rockers, but we're being ridiculed by punk rockers for being this weird little group of straight kids. You know, I was trying to write lyrics that were real, and I decided to write a song called Straight Edge about how I wanted to live and my right to live that way. A song about you have the edge over something because you're straight. We just put it out there as like, it's okay to be like this. That was really the point. Like, I'm not uncool because I don't party. I'm cool for just being me. I was surprised the reactions we were getting. People were so into it. It was like a zeitgeist.
You know, I could relate to that. I am straight edge. I don't smoke or drink. Here's a bunch of kids on stage. I'm a kid. I could start a band. That's what I started doing. Started playing in New York City when I was 16. Hey, my name's Ray Cappo. I'm the singer of a band called Shelter. I'm also the singer of probably one of the older straight edge bands called Youth of Today. Slowly, I realized the punk scene was no alternative to the regular high school scene. It was just another stupid scene, but they got into harder drugs than the kids in high school. All the punks were huffing glue and smoking dust. It was sick. I mean, people were dropping dead. It wasn't just like this clean-cut scene of happy guys. Sad situations of kids on drugs, you know? So we spoke out against that. It really was a big deal to say that because everyone was taking drugs.
And there's a song called Out of Step, which is very straightforward statement on my part. Don't smoke, don't drink, don't fuck. At least I can think. So for me, it's clear that I'm saying that I don't do these things. But a lot of people saw that as a series of rules. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. That was sort of the beginning of what people thought was a framework. The bylaws of whatever possible movement they thought that I was trying to organize. I was not trying to organize a movement.
Even though there was a term coined straight edge by the band Minor Threat, there was no straight edge scene. It was Minor Threat in Washington, D.C., a couple bands in Boston called SSD Control, and a band called DYS. In New York, when we started this, it seemed just like everything was right. It was sort of like our motivation, our theme, and our mission. We spoke out against fascism and Nazism. Subjects that were completely unpunk. You wouldn't hear on a Cockney Rejects record or a Sex Pistols record or a Black Flag record. So Youth of Today got known as this forerunner of the straight edge movement. And then, till the present day, straight edge has still been existing.
Youth Today captured the essence of everything it was about. Here's this guy, shaved head, in good shape. He was on stage and he was a ball of fire, pointing his finger and he's saying positive messages about not drinking, not doing drugs, respecting yourself, being vegetarian, eating meat is wrong. Parents can sit there and tell you, hey, don't smoke, don't drink, don't do drugs. And you're going to sit there and say, yeah, okay, cool. You don't want me to do that? I'm going to do that. But when you see your peers up there with fast, aggressive music yelling this positive message, it can stick in with you. Smoking, drinking, doing drugs, you're rolling the dice. My name's Pete, and I am the singer for straight edge band In My Eyes.
The kind of thing where it was so fun, but you were always like scared to death. Super energetic in a club that only fit like 200 people, and there was 400 kids there stacked up to the ceiling, having a blast. It was awesome.
I don't think there's anyone out there who said such a positive message in such an aggressive way as a straight edge band. You don't see U2 out there screaming about Greenpeace and saying, I'll kick your ass if you don't get into it. It's like a positive peer pressure.
The straight edge ethic struck a chord with thousands of fans entrenched in America's hardcore punk scene. They took up the values of abstaining from alcohol, cigarettes and drugs and ran with it, adding their own twists such as vegetarianism, veganism and even celibacy. Across the US, bands such as 7 Seconds, Judge and Chain of Strength were fired up, intent on spreading the word of a positive lifestyle. At the forefront were New York's Gorilla Biscuits. Here's frontman Civ.
It seemed like punker than punk to be straight edge, like you were knocking everything. You weren't going to bow down to any kind of stereotype, and really hardcore not to have any kind of buffer. You just took life as it came and you just dealt with everything. There was no crutch.
You can't confuse self-destruction with rebelliousness. You know, maybe 20 or 30 years ago it was like making a statement using drugs. The hippies were like all into it, but the same thing that ruined that movement was the use of drugs. What's up? My name's Mike Ski. I sing in the band Brothers Keeper. That's me. What's up? I would say that it's more productive to be really alert and aware rather than just being like, piss off, I'm drunk, or whatever, you know? Totally cliche. Smoking blunts and stuff, it's so 97.
I think it's easy to have a rough day and then get drunk and forget about it and carry on, but it's a lot harder, and I think it makes you stronger if you just have a rough day. There's no buffer. You deal with it, you think about it, you're forced to examine what happened, and then go to bed and wake up and still like try to be in a positive mood.
It's normal in society for someone to say, oh God, this weekend I got so drunk, I passed out, I puked, and I don't remember what I did. No one even blinks an eye at that. Whereas a straight edge kid doesn't do any of that, and everyone thinks they're crazy. It is the ultimate rebellion.
The true punk statement is to get away from the norm. Not drinking, not smoking, because mom and dad do that, and grandma and grandpa do that, your boss at work, and everybody else. So smash the cigarette machine. Slash the tires on the Budweiser truck. If you really want to be punk about it, that's what you should be doing.
The alcohol and the tobacco industries are part of the government in a sense, because the people who run the government and the people who run just about everything in the country are the people who have money. And the drug and alcohol industries are huge, powerful industries. They target minorities, they target poor people, they target kids, they manipulate people to make more money. To me, it seems really wrong. So I feel like someone who gets caught up in it as a victim keeps you down as a person, you know? It keeps you from being like the guy or the girl that steps up and says, yo, this is the way things gotta be.
You may be thinking